Welcome to Short Movie Channel. The movie begins with a girl named Sarah sitting with her sister Viv and Viv's husband, Ronnie. Sarah is talking about the importance of art and her dream of opening her own art gallery. But Ronnie interrupts her and tells her that art is nonsense and has no future. He says the proof is that she graduated from art school but is just working at an art gallery, and her salary isn't even enough to rent her own place. Sarah explains that life in New York is really expensive and that a lot of young people her age face the same struggle. Ronnie then bluntly says that he can't relax around his wife with Sarah staying in their home, and he asks her to find another place to live. Sarah feels hurt by what he said and apologizes for being a burden. She promises she'll be moving out soon. Later, Sarah arrives at work, at the art gallery. That day, there's a big auction happening, and some of the artwork could sell for millions. Claire, the gallery manager, holds a meeting with the staff and makes it clear how important the day is and that no mistakes can happen. Claire notices a stain on Sarah's clothes and gets annoyed, saying she can't let her stand at the auction looking like that. So, she assigns her to greet guests at the entrance and hand out catalogs. After finishing with the catalogs, Sarah returns to her desk and vents to her coworker, about how tough her life is. She shares that she dreams of opening her own gallery, but her circumstances just won't allow it. As Sarah flips through one of the catalogs, she notices that one of the paintings is listed as being done in oil, but it's actually painted with acrylic. She quickly realizes it's a printing error and rushes to tell Claire. Claire then corrects the info before the auction begins. After the auction starts, Claire scolds the employee responsible for printing the catalogs, telling him that those paintings are worth millions, and a mistake like that could have cost them a lot of clients. She also says that if Sarah hadn't caught the mistake, the gallery could have been shut down. Naturally, Sarah feels really proud of herself. It's the first time Claire has ever praised her in front of the staff. That night, Sarah goes back home and overhears Viv and Ronnie talking badly about her, but she doesn't let it bother her and just goes to sleep. The next day, Claire calls Sarah and surprises her by saying she's been chosen to travel with her to London to help oversee the auction there. Sarah is thrilled and can't believe the news. She asks when the flight is, and Claire tells her it's in 2 hours. Sarah quickly starts packing her bags. Viv and Ronnie seem even happier than she is, mainly because she's finally leaving their place, and they even help her get ready. At the airport, Sarah finds out that the 2 coworkers she dislikes the most are also traveling with her. They're arrogant and treat her like she's beneath them because they have higher positions at work. They even ask her to carry their bags, and Sarah, although frustrated, just goes along with it. Then they hit her with another surprise. They won't even be on the same flight. They booked the last 2 seats in business class for themselves, while Sarah's flying later, in economy. Sarah gets really upset and feels humiliated, and a kind airport employee notices what's going on. The woman steps in and tries to cheer her up, then surprises Sarah by upgrading her seat to business class because there were still plenty of empty seats available. Sarah thanks her over and over. Then she goes to grab some coffee while waiting for her flight. Just as she's getting the call from work in London, she bumps into a guy and accidentally spills juice on him. She apologizes nonstop, but he doesn't seem to care and just walks away. Later, Sarah boards the plane, feeling pretty happy to be flying in business class. But guess who she sees? The same guy she spilled the juice on. Sarah tries to avoid eye contact so he won't recognize her, but he does. He tells her he's not upset and introduces himself. His name is William, and he owns one of the biggest marketing companies in the world. He asks why she's going to London, and she tells him she works in the art world and has business there. Sarah then asks him why he's traveling to London. William says he's going to attend his mom's birthday. Her name is Catherine. After a few hours, the plane lands in London, and Catherine picks him up, looking happy to see him. She asks him who Sarah is, and William says he met her on the plane. Catherine turns to Sarah and asks where she's headed. Sarah says she's going to her hotel, so Catherine offers to drive her there. Sarah happily agrees. On the way, Sarah asks Catherine what she does for a living, and Catherine tells her that she used to work in advertising and was quite famous back in the day. She also tells Sarah that they actually have a lot in common since they're both in creative fields. A few minutes later, they arrive at Sarah's hotel. Before she goes inside, William stops her and offers to show her around the city. Sarah says she'd love to, but she's really busy. Then Catherine jumps in and asks for Sarah's number so she can keep in touch. Sarah gives it to her, thanks her for being so kind, and heads into the hotel. Then Sarah arrives at Claire's room and is surprised by how luxurious the place is. But Claire tells her she won't be staying at that hotel. She explains that she booked her a cheaper hotel instead. Claire also tells her that she's traveling to Rome today and will be staying there for a day. She says she's leaving Renee and Suzette in charge of overseeing the auction preparations. Claire hands Sarah a large catalog that contains all the paintings that will be sold at the auction and asks her to review them and confirm their prices. Later, Sarah arrives to meet Renee and Susie. They tell her there will be a staff meeting in 5 minutes and ask her not to speak during the meeting. During the meeting, we are introduced to Arnold, the director of the gallery's London branch. He explains that the upcoming auction will showcase a collection of paintings by Profile, one of the most significant and valuable collections in the world, which hasn't been seen in auctions for years. He tells them that the owner of the paintings passed away some time ago, and it was his wife who requested the collection be sold at auction. He makes it clear to all employees that he won't tolerate any mistakes because some of the world's most important and wealthy individuals will be attending. After the meeting, Sarah heads to her office and is surprised by how old-fashioned it looks compared to Renee and Suzette's office. A little later, Catherine sends Sarah a voice message saying she forgot her laptop in her car and invites her to come to her birthday party to pick it up. After work, Sarah goes to her hotel to rest for a bit, but during that time, she gets a call from Amy, who asks her about how the trip is going. Sarah tells her about William and Catherine and admits that she feels guilty because she lied about her job. She let them believe she's the director of the art gallery in New York because she was too embarrassed to tell them the truth. Later, Sarah arrives at Catherine's birthday party. Catherine thanks her for coming and tells her she can take her laptop and leaves so she doesn't cause any inconvenience. But Catherine insists she stays and enjoy the party. Then William arrives, greets Sarah, and introduces her to Julian Marx, his mother's friend. Sarah is shocked to find herself face to face with Julian Marx himself, one of the most famous artists in the world. She tells him that she loves all of his work. Just then, Sarah gets a call from Claire, who tells her that a very important client needs 2 tickets to a Shakespeare play and asks her to handle it no matter what. Sarah ends the call and asks Julian if he can help her get 2 tickets. Catherine interrupts and says she'll have the tickets for her by tomorrow morning. After that, Sarah takes a tour of Catherine's house and compliments its quality. Catherine tells her that she's been married 3 times, and all of her husbands were artists. She then asks Sarah for the name of the auction house she's working with. Sarah replies that it's called Oren's. Catherine gets very emotional because that's the same auction house that will be handling her late husband's artwork. Sarah realizes that Catherine's late husband was the owner of the Profile collection. Catherine tells her that Claire is the one responsible for selling the paintings at the auction, and she offers Sarah the chance to handle the sale instead. But Sarah declines, saying she doesn't want to cause any issues with Claire. Then Catherine invites Sarah to the opening of her art exhibition that will take place the next day, and Sarah agrees to attend. They say goodbye and Sarah leaves. The next day, William sends Sarah a message asking her to meet him at the soccer field so he can give her the 2 tickets. Within minutes, Sarah arrives and finds William coaching little kids in soccer. She smiles and asks why he's not at work. William tells her that he enjoys training kids before heading to his job. He invites her to lunch, but Sarah politely declines, saying she's busy. She takes the tickets from him and leaves. After that, Sarah goes to Claire and gives her the tickets. Claire tells her she's very pleased with her effort and promises to promote her soon. At night, Sarah arrives at the opening of Catherine's art exhibit. Everything is going smoothly until Claire, Renee, and Susie show up. Naturally, Sarah gets anxious seeing them and tells Catherine that she needs to leave because she's tired from the trip. She quickly rushes out of the gallery before Claire sees her. William follows her and asks what's wrong. Sarah tells him she's just feeling a bit exhausted, so William suggests they go out and spend the evening somewhere else. Sarah agrees, and William takes her to a bar. They spend the whole night drinking, dancing, and having a great time together. After the night ends, William offers to take her back to her hotel. But Sarah hesitates because she doesn't want him to see the old place she's staying in. So instead, she has him drop her off at the hotel where Claire is staying. Just before she walks inside, William stops her and confesses his feelings. He tells her he's fallen in love with her. Sarah is overjoyed, but deep down, she's scared about how he'll react once he finds out the truth. Days pass, and we see Sarah and William growing closer. They're spending more and more time together. One day, Sarah asks him why he chose to be with her. William replies that she's different from other girls. She's incredibly humble even though she comes from money. That's a quality he's never seen in other rich girls he's known. Sarah feels touched but tries to change the topic, asking him about his future work plans. William says he's thinking of moving all his work to New York so he can be closer to her. Later, Sarah gets to work at the auction house. Claire calls her into her office and praises her for her hard work. Then she surprises her by saying she'll be promoting her soon, as she's the only one who truly deserves it. Just then, Renee walks in and announces that Catherine called and decided to cancel her auction. Everyone, including Claire and the rest of the staff, is shocked. This auction was a huge deal. Meanwhile, William arrives at the auction house, and Sarah quickly pulls him outside to talk. She starts yelling at him, upset that he didn't tell her he was coming. William says he wanted to surprise her, and asks why she's so worked up. Sarah says she's angry because of his mom's decision to cancel the auction. William says he had nothing to do with her decisions. Sarah explains that this auction could have really advanced her career, and without it, she's going to suffer major losses. William misreads her words and thinks she's only with him to use him for work connections. He tells her he won't be in a relationship built on manipulation, then walks away. Sarah returns to the auction house, only to find that her photos with Catherine are now all over the place. Claire calls her into the office and demands an explanation. Sarah breaks down and admits she pretended to be someone else because she just wanted to feel appreciated. Everyone around her always treats her badly, and she apologizes for what she did. But Claire doesn't accept her apology and fires her. Sarah begs for a second chance and promises to make things right, but Claire refuses. Devastated, Sarah leaves the auction house in tears. She goes to sit alone in the garden and calls her sister, telling her she's been fired and will return to New York the next day. But her sister surprises her by saying they've gotten a new dog and there's no space for Sarah anymore. The dog has taken her place. Sarah is shocked, feels completely humiliated, and as if her whole world is falling apart. So, she decides to come clean to Catherine and confess everything. She tells her that she's just a regular employee with a modest salary, and that she couldn't even afford a proper home. She apologizes for lying and says she just wanted to experience the life of someone wealthy, even if it was just for a single day. Catherine is touched by her honesty. She claps for her, and says she's proud of her for having the courage to admit the truth. She even shares that she used to do the same when she was younger to reach her goals. Then she jokingly says it was all just part of a marketing plan. Sarah laughs and asks what the plan is. Catherine tells her to get ready. They're heading to the auction house together. A little while later, Catherine and Sarah arrive at the auction house. Catherine tells Claire she's changed her mind and will go forward with the auction, but only on one condition, that Sarah is the one in charge of selling her artwork. Claire agrees to the condition. The day of the auction arrives, and Catherine's paintings sell for far more than anyone expected. Sarah feels incredibly proud of herself. After the auction, she goes to see William and apologizes for how she acted. William already knows the truth about Sarah from his mother. He tells Sarah he can't forgive her because she lied to him. Sarah explains that she only lied to get closer to him. She knew he'd never look at her twice if he knew she was just a poor girl. But William says she's wrong. He didn't love her for her money, he loved her for who she is. A person's true beauty comes from their character, not their wealth. Then William says goodbye and walks away. We see Sarah on a plane heading back to New York, heartbroken because she lost William. 6 months later, we see her at the opening of her own art exhibit. She's achieved everything she ever dreamed of in her career, but she still feels sad that William isn't there to share it with her. She tells her friend Amy that she tried reaching out to him many times, but he never responded. Amy tries to cheer her up and says they should go celebrate somewhere. But Sarah declines, saying she's too tired. After the event ends, Sarah is shocked to find William at her place with his suitcase. She nervously asks him why he's there. William tells her he couldn't let her spend the biggest day of her life alone. He tells her he's so proud of her and everything she's achieved. Sarah then takes him to her new apartment, and they start living together. And that's where the movie ends. If you enjoyed the film, give us a like and drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.